yours. And the setup is there's a family, and you just kind of got to know who people are. Fanny is kind of the dictator, monarch-themed grandma. Esmeralda is her daughter, and then their unhappy children are Marat and Robespierre. So you can sit together from there. And Fanny's husband, Harold, this comes up, died at sea as a fisherman a long time ago, which just kind of made her not the friendliest person in the world. Okay. On the afternoon of September 11th, 2001, after a day of sitting around while frightened teachers whispered into cell phones in the hall, a day in which mysterious televisions materialized from closets and broadcasted the same catastrophic images in humbled voices over and over, an absentee day of independent textbook review and worksheets and extended recess, Marat set off a pile of M80s in the boys' room and a smoke bomb in the teacher's lounge and ran down the hallway screaming like a freshly scalped prairie woman until an assistant principal took him out with a shoestring tackle. 2 weeks later, upon completion of a wriggling, energy-blasted, house-wrecking suspension, Fanny informed him that he was no longer permitted to leave the house without first performing 100 sit-ups and 100 push-ups in front of the fireplace, naked. Marat, I'm sorry that it has come to this, she explained in a judicious tone, but how else should we just get through to you that this is unacceptable? We are fortunate that you were not shot on the spot. Exercise and shame were required to put you back in line. Marat smirked and shrugged. I was just trying to, make a joke. You've grown too chubby and yet retain too much pointless energy. An exercise regimen will take the edge off and trim that fat, as Fanny explained. And the nudity will serve as motivation to end your shaving and behave better. What if I don't do it, he barked. You will experience a pain you have never known, Fanny said sweetly, receding into the hallway, the divot in her forehead deep enough to hide a quarter. The next morning, Marat and Robespierre crammed toast into their mouths, kissed Esmeralda goodbye, and made a coordinated break for the door while Fanny was in the bathroom with her third cigarette of the morning. As they grappled with the complex array of locks, Fanny strolled toward them, laughing. Children, she wheezed. I may have been born at night, but not last night. Now, Marat, strip. Hold the phone, Ma, Esmeralda piped up, unaware of her son's new exercise requirements. Not cool. Silence, dear. Would you prefer to sleep on the street? Marat, please, get to it. So they're all living in the same house, which you have family. You know how that can be tough. I ain't kidding, Ma, Esmeralda rattled her cereal spoon menacingly. Lay off the kid. Esmeralda Van Twinkle, I've had enough out of you. The boy committed a terrorist act. He does not respond to grounding. He does not respond to child psychologists. He does not respond to the rescinding of television privileges. Perhaps he will respond to physical exertion and embarrassment. Enough squabbling. Marat, drop them. Fanny jerked down Marat's sagging jeans to reveal his bare, fleshy bottom and spanked him with her open palm. Hit the deck, Fanny ordered. Now! Marat aimed his decimated pupils at his grandmother and inched open his lips. Quietly but clearly, he hissed, fuck you. The ensuing blast took him to the ground and into a nap. He woke up in bed, pants fastened around his waist, a drag race whirring in his head. And for the rest of his life, through his adolescent revenge and adult regret, he always believed that it was his grandmother who laid the haymaker on him. She was the offended party, already steamed up, well within striking distance, with a track record of screwing him over. Even though Robespierre insisted that it was their mother who'd risen from her chair like a viper and hurled her breakfast plate across the room, eggs and bacon splattering across the walls as the porcelain pigeon clocked him in the forehead, he refused to accept it. It didn't make sense. For he had divined, correctly, that Fanny Van Twinkle had cracked. Even with a daughter and 2 grandchildren at home, Fanny felt a dearth of love so penetrating that she found her only moments of warmth from her daily slate of soap operas. They provided her with reliable attention, featuring juicy love triangles with handsome men who commanded large fortunes and cogently discussed world events, scripted into trustworthy hour-long blocks in time for predictable commercial breaks. Whereas her home life had descended into Hobbesian chaos, Marat the nasty one, Esmeralda brutish, and Robespierre, the only hope, the girl, unbearably short. What went wrong with Robespierre? Already she'd taken to issuing orders and ignoring advice, a subtle dictatorship. Her understated disgust at Fanny's copious and free home cooking, taking Fanny off in a major way. And she was condescending, with an enormous vocabulary Fanny couldn't decode. That meal was really dyspeptic, she announced as Fanny prepared her classic, after Fanny prepared her classic fava bean casserole. Thank you, Fanny replied, thrilled to have earned such an unusual compliment. A stupid, elated grill stuck to her face for the next few hours, until Esmeralda asked what was making her so frickin' silly, and Fanny told her, and Esmeralda provided the definition. "Damn," Fanny growled, her smile vaporized. "That girl has too much peacock in her strut." Fanny cleaned, she cooked, she shopped, she mended. She tried to help with homework and occasionally took a shot at physical contact. A handshake, a high five, dipping in for a hug once a year. But her daughter was sullen, Marat cold, and Robespierre goody two-shoes, too calculated to be seen sucking up. The isolation was total. And yet despite the complaints, the animosity, the resultant marginalization, Fanny never seriously considered that she might have been too rigid, too persnickety about the little things, and that the girl was only doing what she could to increase her general popularity among the household, to build her political capital. And Harold, her husband, wasn't coming back. She knew this. There was no secret rescue mission or mystery vortex or explanation for his absence other than a boiling sea, swirling rain, nautical collisions, gale winds, and bone-crushing waves. At least he had gone with the ocean. It was where he belonged, she thought, and when it stormed against her bedroom window, she imagined his body banded with water and drizzling back to her as rain. Her love trickling through her flower pots, her love leaking between her shingles, her love filling her stomach when she drank from the tap. As the younger generation quickly figured out, Fanny fell apart during storms. She was lonely. She heard the rain but could not kiss it. She drank her husband's love but could not feel it. Her mind was melting with love. So that's kind of a downer of a section. I was going to read like a more